Ahoy there, I'm Tiny Pirate and welcome to a quick tutorial for Conan Exiles. Now this tutorial is designed for people who are pretty much downloading it today on the first day or the first few days of release. So I want to get you guys started nice and quick. I can't promise this tutorial will be awesome over a long period of time, but I can promise that it will be helpful to you right away. Today we're going to look at the basics of character creation and survival, tool making and gathering, and we're going to build ourselves a little house and get the bare necessities of life in hand so that you don't have to struggle in your first half hour in Conan Exiles. I hope you'll enjoy this video. Stick through to the end because there's lots of great tips all the way through it. Alright, I think it's time to crack on. So let's crack on. The first thing I think you should do, this is probably something a lot of us do, is hop into key bindings and just have a quick look at what the buttons are and what they do. Right trigger, left trigger, or left right mouse button here. It does actually change sides. Sometimes there's buttons and sometimes there's gamepad on the stuff. Anyway, jump, crouch, sprint, you should know these things. You should know what your inventory button is. I've changed mine. I set it to tab. You should probably know what the map button is. And if you like taking screenshots, the toggle GUI. The global chat is hit the enter button, vicinity chat is the numpad star, and I've changed the emotes menu to R. It doesn't really actually seem to do anything. And the push to talk button, choose something for that because you may come across people. Vanity camera, you might want to stick something in there if you haven't got anything already. And other than that, knowing that Control K for suicide, knowing that's helpful if you do get stuck in the world. So that's probably about it for settings I would look at. I've messed around a little bit in here, pretty much left it as is, and audio for reasons that are due to a bug right now, I've left voice chat volume down, but everything else, tweak as you see fit. Maybe drop the music a little bit. Anyway, so you've got that down pat. Let's get on with the next thing, play online. Now I found the server fiddly thing to be a little bit confusing, and what you would have probably had is when you hit this button you will get some kind of option, PvE, PvE or something else. I've never fiddled with them. I just click the skip button and I come straight in here because during the first week there aren't that many servers out. You haven't got a stratification yet of any kind of massive list, so you can pretty much just come straight in and look for a good server. The list does take a little while to come up, and in my case it's obviously showing a lot of New Zealand servers because that's where I am, so the ping do tend to be a bit better for me in that regard. You should have a look at what the options are, and when you click on a server on the right you'll get information. So equipment dropped on death, anyone can loot a player's corpse, so that's important if you don't want to have a harder experience, if you want to have a real nice cuddly experience and you don't want that. PvP Blitz, I'm not sure what the difference is between Blitz and PvP right now. PvE, obviously player structures are indestructible, equipment is dropped but only you can loot the player corpses, so that is obviously player versus environment, the nice caring friendly way of playing. PvP is the less friendly way of playing, and Blitz I think is just for harvesting faster, day is faster, stuff like that probably. And you have clans as well, and they have different sizes. So I think max clan size 0 means there's basically infinitely sized clans, whereas with Blitz they're putting them on a limited distribution. I also see community comes up in here a little bit as well. I don't know what the difference is. So my advice is find a server that you think is going to fit with your playstyle and just have a go. So what have I got here? Region Europe, New Zealand Aotearoa Exiles. It's pretty close. I might try this one. Here we go. 2 times harvest. It's down as PvP Blitz. Equipment dropped. Anyone can loot. This one looks like a good one for me, and there's a whole bunch of people on it. So I'm going to join the server. You can also host your own server. You can play a kind of PvE or a PvP experience just on your own box, a solo survival game. I haven't really messed with that because I think most people are probably going to want to get into some kind of multiplayer environment. Okay, as the game starts, we are that person or personage on the cross, and we have to choose whether to be male or female. Today I'm going to go female. And here we go into character creation. We have a list of crimes around our neck. You can watch the video backstory and what have you when you play. Now, race right now changes the sort of appearance you get, but doesn't really seem to have any other impact. I don't think there is any sort of benefit racial bonuses or anything to combat. So just choose a style that suits you. I'm going to go for the true traditional Sumerian barbarians. Oh yes, good job, tiny pirate. You should definitely choose me. That's yeah, maybe I should stop doing that. Next, in character creation, just going through this menu here, you get a choice of gods. You can choose Crom, which requires no particular worship. You don't get any particular bonuses for that. Set, who is the god of serpents and sacrifice. Yog, the god of cannibals. Mitra, who's kind of, I guess, the closest you get to sort of an ancient Greek god, a kind of Zeus figure. And when you choose one of these, except for Crom, you do get the option of crafting particular things. So I'm going to go with Crom, being that we're Sumerian, traditional. We are happy because Crom gives us the strength when we're born to strive and struggle. But after that, he leaves us alone.
Death is coming.
Oh, well, she's female voice 6. That sounds great. So now you can mess around with character creation. So I can randomize face. What should we go for? 3, 2, 1. That one. There we go. So character creation. There's the face down. Hair. There are a whole bunch of options here. I'm just going to choose one that looks natural for this lady. I don't know. White hair is kind of cool. We'll go for that. Eyebrows. And again, you can go through the presets. I'm just going to hit randomize. Wow. That's some fierce eyebrows. I might randomize away again a little bit more. That's better. Cosmetics, randomize. Sure, that sounds great. Face details, chin width. If I hit randomize a few times. Yep, that looks great. Cheeks. All of these are kind of nice. They don't give you any particular benefits, but I guess they can help your character stand out a little bit in the world. Although I do find everyone does tend to look a little bit like well, like a barbarian wandering around in their underpants. So you'll see that yourself. Right now the ears don't really seem to matter, so I'm just going to put everything about the middle. Can't see anyway with the hair there. Eyes. I'm actually quite happy with those. I think I'm going to leave them. Body features. Small or massive. We're going to make her tiny because that's, you know. Okay, that is just the weirdest slider known to man. I mean, really, Funcom. I suppose we do have to have it there to provide some variety, so there you go. We'll leave that there. Men have an endowment size. The nudity blocking does seem to be on right now, which is good because this needs to go on YouTube, so I can't see what endowment does for the men, which is probably... Ah! Sorry, that's probably for the best. Maximum nudity on the server is full. Oh no, that's going to be a pain. Great. So finalize character. Name, Tiny Pirate. Yeah, I think we'll go with that. The Sumerian, condemned to death in exile for skullduggery and buggery, inciting a riot and piracy. Oh, brilliant. Well, that's very appropriate. Buggery, that I don't quite know what she would have done to do that. I have a few ideas, and all of them are very, very, very X-rated. Okay, so confirm. Crack on. Now you get to watch the intro video. So after the intro video, you're dumped on the plane, and the first thing you should do is you should know Wazard will move you around, and the mouse wheel will let you scroll in and out. And if I press L, I can get, well, for me it's L. This is the vanity camera where I can check out my lady, see what she's up to. And back here now, mouse wheel in and out can pull me back into proper first person view. If I walk up here, it tells me press E to interact. And when you play, you can listen to all of this. So in the top left, you will see heart, you'll see stamina, current water, you'll see how hungry you are, your XP bar to the next level, and how encumbered you are. Now, as you walk around, you press E to pick things up, like branches. And if I come over here, there are rocks to pick up probably. There's bushes I can stand in, and these bushes you can actually punch a few times, picking up all their fibers, which is very nice. Grab, 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 grab. You want to basically pretty much just run around grabbing everything. I wouldn't hang around the desert too long. You don't need to, so you can just get on with it. If I press shift, I run. Hold down shift. If I press control, I crouch, and monsters will notice you less if you're crouching. If I press M, up comes the map, and I am currently not on the map, so I'm going to have to run a bit more before I am back on the map. I'm going to pick up some of these Rocks and stones, all of them helpful. You will need a few. And we will level up soon, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So let's get these basics done. Okay, we're running. Where were we supposed to go? We have to follow this path. Running. And when we get up here, there will be a nasty creature. Get out of here, a nasty creature. It's eating this guy. And we can quite happily pick up some stone. We can pick up this book and listen to it. So I've listened to the little story and I've kept on running, and you can enjoy that yourself when you play. Now, the next thing to do is probably to get on crafting some tools. So for me, when I press tab, that's my inventory button. By default, it's I, and I can choose things to start making. Now, the first thing I want to make is this nice pickaxe, which goes into my crafting queue. I will also put on a coarse tunic, because why not? And maybe some... Oh, I don't have enough for leggings yet. That's fine. So the pickaxe will go there. The tunic will be dropped into one of these slots shortly. And I got a handful of insects along the way. So you can munch those and start chowing down on them. Delicious. The leather journal stays there, I suppose. In the crafting queue, the tunic is coming along. We'll see that pop onto the body in a second, I expect. Oh, I love that ponytail. That's great. Have we got it? Oh, I can see in the bottom right the crafting thing is there. Nice. Oh, yeah. Come on, lady. Get going. So we are about to enter the map, basically. We have made it into... Well, okay, there we go. Coarse tunic is on. Right. I suspect that helps us in some fashion. I just don't know how. Okay, so now you can see how if I press M, I'm in the bottom right of the map. Everyone spawns along that bottom edge with the water ahead of them. So if you die, you're likely to spawn in the vicinity of the bottom there. And then you can just move inland, find the river, and figure out where you are. Now, I have to be a little bit careful. You will find monsters that will easily defeat you if you just run blindly in here at this point. So one of the things I'm going to do is pull up, grab all of these sticks here, and smack on this rock with my pick. Break up a few things. I can just hold down the old mouse button. Look at that. It's fantastic. Any of these large rocks will be pickable, and you can carry quite a few, so don't worry about going too overboard. Pick up some of these, and I do need some more fiber almost certainly for the next set of tools. So I'm just going to run through here picking. Yeah, very good. Stand up time. Okay, so next thing to look at then really is ironstone. Never seen that before. Lovely. So what we want to do is level up. We've got our pants. Oh, we don't have pants. We've got our shirt on, which is a good start. We have our pickaxe. We don't have anything else. So as I leveled up, I can spend a few points here. It tells me I've got unspent points. I'm going to put them in strength because we are based on, well, supported by Crom. And I'm going to spend one here on encumbrance and one on vitality. And you can mouse over these in due course and see which ones to go for. I'm not sure that any of them are better or worse than the others. I think, yeah, they all have their pluses and minuses. So for now, just go for it. Don't go perhaps too overboard in one. Maybe some strategy guides in the future will give you some more options. The next thing to look at is the recipes. So it's a recipe-based system. You learn recipes as you level up. And as you can see, I have these options, and they lead to the things in green, and they're usually level capped. So this one, for example, is a level 2 required before you can get it. The soldiery stuff is level 3. My recommendation is to go for the apprentice craftsman straight away. You could go for foundations later on, but I think really you've got 2 points. Save them, but go for this apprentice craftsman because you want the tools. Once you've got that, you do have an available point, which I think is probably, well, I could spend it again. I have leveled up twice, I think, so I could have a look in here. I would suggest that a building is not a bad idea. You could, if you're feeling really wary, go straight to mercenary. But I don't know. I think actually getting a small house up is probably pretty helpful. It's a good place to camp out, avoid bad guys, that kind of stuff. So I would unlock that as well. So perhaps by the time you get to the edge of the forest, you also will be in a position to, get to level 3 or so. So now we need to craft stone hatchet. Just click on it. Tells me I can craft up to 3 because of all the sticks and stones I've got, but I'm only going to go for 1. After that, I need fiber. I need a lot of fiber for a bedroll, which will be a very good thing to do. And I also need to turn my fiber into twine, which I can do from here. I'm just going to tell it to craft 5 of them. So my pants should go on anytime soon. Was it pants I'm making? Oh no, stone hatchet. There we go. So stone hatchet's in the inventory. This is an okay weapon if you need to use it, but it's not brilliant. It will take you quite a while to fight with it. I'd recommend just using it to cut down a couple of trees like that. That looks fantastic, doesn't it? Must admit. And how are we looking for parts? We got stuff coming here. Pants, no. We do have our bedroll almost ready. We just need some plant fiber. So we'll grab those bits and bobs and get our bedroll up, which will be very helpful to us. All right. We got this. How many are we looking at? Let's stand in here and just pull down these bushes till they're all gone. Tap, tap, tap. Smacking away at the E key. Yes. Very nice. Okay, now is probably the time to get on with it and run to the river, because as you can see, our water bar is getting quite low and we do need to top up. Thankfully, the river makes that pretty easy. We just got to throw ourselves into it, basically. So rivers should be pretty much handy to all of the spawn locations. And then just in you go. You can float around here, press E a few times, and up goes the old water till it is blue, and blue is kind of maximum, and it will stay that way for a while, so that's pretty handy. The next thing I like to do is try and get a bedroll down and then to lay out some simple foundations. So for that I am going to need some stone. So a very simple house right at the start, a little shack for you to base yourself out of is probably not a bad idea. If you're on a really hardcore PvP server, that might not be enough to keep people out. They probably could break in. So you might want to be quite sneaky about where you put your little base. And you might not want to stay there for very long. That's kind of a thing for you to think about, and maybe you'll get to know the server quite quickly and how they play. Are they hardcore crazy like Rust, or are they a more gentle experience? I don't know. Rust players, they like to raid. Arc players, maybe not quite as hardcore. Now, I've got a bunch of stones and stuff, and I can see that my encumbrance is getting pretty high, and I expect that I will have to do something about that soon. Fortunately, I can just craft up and these foundations, and crafting them will reduce the weight quite a bit for some reason. And we're going to eat these bugs. Hom nom 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 nom. Okay, so we've got foundations coming along, have leveled up. So now's a good time, I think, for more strength. Why not? We are Chromians after all. And at level 3, I want to unlock the mercenary. That's me. You might be different. You could go for campfire and sealed water skin, but you don't need to cook food really early on. You could try saving up for archer, but that's going to take you a few more levels. So I think mercenary makes the most sense because it gets you weapons pretty promptly, and weapons are very handy. So for that, we're going to need to gather some more resources, which I'm going to do now. I need some wood, and I need some stone, and I need some fiber. So if you're playing along, do the same thing, and then we'll talk about that in a second. So by now you're probably feeling pretty hungry, and you've probably just about damaged your tools to buggery, and you've probably gathered a bunch of resources like I have. So I hope you've done that. What I recommend is you can find these shaleback egg nests everywhere around, and you can eat those eggs. So I just chuck them in a hot bar and then press 8 a couple of times, and nom 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 nom, and my food thingy wobbly goes up, and I'm back to being happy again. They are much more nutritious than these handful of bugs, which are fine as an emergency, but not that great long-term sustenance. You will also find your weapons getting damaged, but if you hit repair, you can just pick them right back up to full strength. I haven't really seen any impact on the weapons from that, or the devices from that. They don't seem to lose anything for their for their fun being repaired. So that's good news. As you're swimming through the water, press the old E button to top up. You can also harvest a bit of fiber often off these plants, so quite nice. If you get chased by a monster of some kind, usually you can leg it and just carry on with your day happily. Now this looks like quite an interesting spot. There's actually a little bit of creature spawn here, and I quite like the location, so I might start building here because it's going to be pretty straightforward. So the simplest thing to do is select your foundation, and you can just plop down. Whoop. What is happening? Is something attacking us? No, we're fine. So I can see my foundation there, and I'm just going to make a very simple 2x2 house. 2x2 is a good idea just so your feet aren't poking out of the walls when you go to sleep. People can take you out if they see that. They can give you a smack and you are going to have a hard time. So after that, you need some walls. So it's going to be 2, 4, 6, 8. So I've got 1 doorway and 7 of those. And I also need some twine for a door. So we'll craft 10 and let that crack on, and we'll get them up. Where shall I put my door? I can... I think I'm going to put it facing this way, and I can see outer face. So I know that this is the rough side on this side, and this is the inside of the building. And that's going to look nicer that way. Outer face, go round, and round, and round. And I need one more, which I don't have the resources for. I almost have... again, we're waiting for twine. I'm going to put my bedroll down. So now that we've laid out these foundations, no one else can build nearby. I'm not quite sure what the build radius is yet, but they cannot build nearby, so this is going to be your corner of the world. And I'm going to put this bedroll down, and I'm going to press E for more options. Spawn point updated. This is very important. When we die, we'll come back to this point, but in doing so, the bedroll does get destroyed. So before you can go back and claim your body, but before you do anything else, get another bedroll down. At the start, that's going to be very important. Otherwise, you spawn miles away, and you'll be very grumpy with yourself. Now, we need a door. I'm going to craft one of those. While we're looking for more stuff, I'm thinking about a sword and a shield. And I'm also thinking about leveling up, since we've already hit level 5, which is brilliant. So, health pool seems like a good idea. I'm going to add to that. Recipes. Already have mercenary. I would love bow. It costs 2. We have 2 available. Let's unlock it. Bows, not too difficult to make. You will need to kill a couple of creatures to get this stuff. Just, stone and sticks for arrows. Easy peasy. So we shall go and gather a little bit more resources, a little bit of grass and what have you, and then complete our beautiful, beautiful construction. So I've got my final wall coming along, and it's gone into that preordained slot there, so I can just hop into my base. I can also flip, no, R is currently my other menu, so never mind. But I should be able to, mouse wheel to flip the facing if I need to. So that's going to go there. The other thing I need to do is put a roof on, so the simplest way to do that is there are sandstone ceilings, craft 4 of them up, and the door we need twine for, so I'm going to craft some more of those up, and once those are done, we'll get our door on and put our roof on. Okay, so I did my little bit of gathering, tools are wearing down, but otherwise I'm doing okay. I can put the door on like that, and now we're basically safe. No one can get in here unless they break in. And while that is possible later in the game, right at the very start of a server, you should be pretty safe. Depending on, of course, if you're playing on a PvP server or not. Once we go outside, well, there we go. We're in the wilds. So you do need to worry about closing your door. There are options to do with this, and right now they're not that great. Like, I can't seem to assign other people to my buildings just yet. I have done a little bit of gathering, so I have the stuff I need for a basic stone sword. Not exactly the most amazing thing in the world, but we can get on with using that to bash some heads in, and that's going to be good fun. I'm going to munch on these bugs first. Now I've got the stone sword, so I'm going to chuck that here in my inventory. I could craft up a shield. I found the shields to be a little unreliable, to be perfectly frank, compared to just wailing on things. So here's a good start. This thing should be easy enough to whack. And I can just hit the old fire button. Oh, it's taken off, damn it. Now if I hold down the button and then let go, I do a power attack. So I can run at it with a power attack, which with a stone sword should be some damage. Come here, stop glitching. Stop glitching. Yay, I got it. And now what I can do is I can break out the old hatchet or the sword, and I can just slam on this to gain bone, meat, stuff like that. So we got some flesh and some meat. Right now, because we haven't unlocked a campfire, we can't cook that meat. But I'm not so worried. I cooked a bunch of meat earlier in another game. Half of it spoiled by the time I wanted to use it. So in the end, just running around and munching on the old eggs seems to be as good a bit as any. Just use them. And I don't know, I'm going to throw that meat away. It gets spoiled anyway. So I do have a shield. I'll show you what happens when you put a shield on. So in combat, which I press with C, and then 4, there you go, I've got the offhand now. I can hold down the right mouse button to block, and then I can left mouse button to attack. Oh. Wow, he died. He died very quick. If I press... Oh! He's going to come in, though. Nope. Oh. I need to change weapons. We got the shield up, and... Shield up, shield up, shield up. And holding down the right mouse button, and then... power attack. And then shield, shield, shield. And then power attack. This server is having a hard time. Shield, 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 power attack. Just keep smacking. Oh, and we got him. Wow, what an expert I am, eh? So press E, you can just loot all. If I tap E, I'll see what's in him. There isn't anything as far as I can tell on these guys normally. So if I come out of combat mode and just pull out the old axe, well, just pull out the old axe. So C by default flips you in and out of the combat stance. Nope, we accidentally killed everything. Oh well, happens sometimes. So now that I have hides, I should actually be pretty close to being able to make the bow. And that just needs twine. So I'm going to make up some of that and then get a couple of bows and arrows kicking along. So I'm busy crafting a bow right now, and I've noticed that when I've crafted one set of arrows, it gives me 10. So that's a nice time saver. The bow, I haven't tried yet, so let's enjoy that and see what it's like. Level up requires me to mess with maybe accuracy, I think this time, for our ranged weapons. And learn a new recipe. Now at level, what are we on now? 6. I'm not quite sure what would be the best to go for. I actually think probably, to be honest, a wooden box would be a good idea. You end up quite overloaded with junk, and without anywhere to save it, you're going to have it to carry it around, and you're going to hit some kind of encumbrance limit pretty quickly. So a wooden box seems like a good idea, and just need some twine to make. So we'll pick up some more stuff and go for it that way. So I've gained yet another level, so it is very quick on this server. From here, it would probably be a good idea, if you want to build a bigger base, grab a set of stairs. If you're not so worried about building your big base, perhaps an armorer's bench would be a good idea, so you can start making chest pieces and what have you. So I'm going to go for that myself, and then see how we are with this bow. So the bow is now available. I do have to tell it, I think, which arrows I'm using by dragging them on. And then simply right click and left... Well, that one failed. Right click and left click to fire, it should be. Is that even working? I... Die! It did actually work. I couldn't see the arrow fly, but it did. So yes, that could be quite a helpful way of taking out some of the bigger creatures from a distance. Well, I got enough to craft my box, so that sounded... that sounded a little wrong. So I've got enough to craft this storage box. I will do so now, and we'll put it down. Let's see, where's it going to go? Here we go. I'll put it there. And 6. Come here, box. You can lie down, not on our mat. No, not in the wall. There we go. Plop. Placed it the wrong way around, and now I can dump off all my useless bits and bobs that I don't want to carry around anymore, that are weighing me down perhaps. They should be safe in here and nice and snug, unless someone decides to break down the walls, which they could do with higher tier weapons. So that is basically the start of Conan Exiles. I hope it's been helpful. Just a nice quick tutorial to guide you through things. One more point that I should make is at night you will need a torch. Activating it in your hotbar puts it in your offhand, so you can walk around with your weapon in one hand and the torch in the other, which is pretty grand. Well, that's enough from me. I hope you found this tutorial exciting. If you have, do subscribe, because I've got more Conan content on my channel, and I plan to put out some more, perhaps a few more guides, bits and bobs, let's plays, that kind of stuff, and I think it should be quite fun. So I hope I will see you again soon, and we can go around punching trees and rocks and stuff into infinity. Until next time, I've been Tiny Pirate. Good night.